Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, renovations are expected on President Olian's house, and the price may surprise you.
And Hamden residents may be seeing a lot less plastic around town in the next few weeks.
Plus, the Student Government Association is working on a solution for parking during preview days. All that and more right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Nhung.
And I'm Kerry Golden.
We start tonight with some news on President Olian's house. Cali Kees has the latest update. Cali?
Thanks, guys. New today, an update on the university president's property. Quinnipiac has filed several permits with the town of Hamden to renovate the property at 305 Spruce Bank Road. The town of Hamden approved the building permits last week. According to the site plan filed for the main house of the property, the university is planning to add a catering kitchen and smart lighting. Interior renovations will be done for the master suite, bedrooms, bathrooms, and closets, and the finishes throughout the house will be redone. The town also issued plumbing and electrical permits earlier in January. To conduct these renovations, the university is expected to be spending about $1 million. To check out this full story, head to Q30TV.com. Back to you guys at the desk.
The town of Hamden voted in approval of a ban that might alter your grocery shopping in Hamden. Cali Kees has a full story.
In a few weeks, you'll probably be seeing a lot less plastic in Hamden. Last night, the Hamden Town Council voted to eliminate single-use plastic bags. Brad McDowell is the Town Council member who drafted this proposal and has spearheaded it for the majority of the past year.
Feels pretty great to get it through.
McDowell believes this ban will cause many positive impacts in the town of Hamden.
We're talking about a large fiscal impact for taxpayers, and we're talking about a large public health impact. We're talking about a large environmental impact. And I think since the state has really failed to take action on this, it's imperative that we protect our community.
The town also voted to approve a plastic straw ban, in which restaurants will now be giving customers straws only if they ask for them.
I think it'll have a positive impact on the community while still offering, individuals who need them, like individuals with movement disorders and other individuals who rely on the durability but the flexibility of the plastic straw offers, still allowing them and being inclusive.
The passing of this ban is giving the Students for Environmental Action hope that something similar may be in the future for Quinnipiac.
It's amazing that Hamden's about to be a catalyst for that sort of movement.
SCA has been working hard to try to get Quinnipiac to follow Hamden's lead to reduce the amount of plastic used on Quinnipiac's campus.
We're working with both Q Dining, both facilities, everybody on how we can attack this problem in the best way, not just for the students, but also for the university.
While SCA is still working to make this a reality, once Mayor Kurt Lang signs the ban, it will go into effect for Hamden in 30 days. Reporting for Q30 News, Cali Kees.
The Cheshire Police Department is continuing their investigation of a local trail after a woman's body was found on Tuesday. The investigation is happening on the Farmington Canal Heritage Trail. Authorities started this investigation around 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday after a complaint of suspicious items in the area. The trail was closed, but is now once again open to public. The name of the woman has not yet been released.
The Student Government Association took initiative after issues with parking occurred in North Lot due to admissions preview days. Vice President of Public Relations Victoria Johnson spoke with Shannon Grasso after student complaints. Students were upset that they were not notified in advance of the parking ban. Commuter students are now allowed to park in Hilltop until preview days are over on Thursday. SGA will also be working with the Office of Admissions to figure out a parking plan for open houses in the future. In light of recent success, SGA will be hosting another pub night on Friday at 5 p.m., but this time, tailgate edition. Quinnipiac students over the age of 21 can head up to Rocky Top before the men's ice hockey game against St. Lawrence. The first 200 students to attend will also receive a free ticket to the game. SGA will have 2 bars, foosball, basketball, and more.
The more we embrace our size, the easier it'll be to have a lot of school spirit. I think I'm just gonna, hopefully through these initiatives that we're working on in the ad hoc committee, everyone can kind of get kids excited about certain parts of Quinnipiac.
For more information, be sure to visit their Facebook page.
Connecticut lawmakers are looking to reduce the use of e-cigarettes by limiting vaping flavors. Democratic senators and representatives say the flavors are what draw kids to nicotine in the first place. Juul, among other vaping companies, say the flavors keep adults from harmful tobacco products. But with e-cigarettes becoming more popular, Democrats say they need to regulate them better. Quinnipiac's poll is now one of the polls to determine which presidential candidates qualify for debates. The Democratic National Committee has selected the Quinnipiac poll among 4 other university polls. The first 2 primary debates are happening in June and July.
Bobcats may have an extra day off in the fall semester next year. Right now, some students skip classes to drive home or mail absentee ballots to vote. But Connecticut is looking to make voting easier by turning Election Day into a holiday. Q30 spoke to Rose Mentone of the Hamden Democratic Registrar.
I'm torn about it between, to be honest with you. While I see the benefits in terms of maybe boosting attendance, I'm not sure financially whether we can afford to do that in the state of Connecticut.
Governor Ned Lamont has proposed to begin tolling vehicles on Connecticut highways. The proposal is to help the state afford transportation upgrades and support long-term economic growth. Lamont also said gasoline tax will decline to mitigate the cost of tolling.
If you have driven down Evergreen recently, you have probably noticed a sign tracking your speed. Speed trackers are now being placed on roads in Hamden so drivers can see when they are going over the speed limit and slow down. The light blinks to show drivers how fast they are going. Many Quinnipiac students drive down Evergreen on a daily basis. Mayor Kurt Lang is looking to fix traffic violations in Hamden with cameras. Brooke Reilly has more.
New traffic lights are going up at 7 intersections in Hamden. With police increasing enforcement at traffic lights, the addition of cameras can assist them in identifying those who run red lights.
I think that we should look at ways to deter those intersections that are dangerous without taking away manpower from different types of calls that may need actual people there.
However, having cameras on traffic lights is currently illegal in the entire state of Connecticut. Despite this, Mayor Lang thinks that adding cameras could make people more aware of the dangers of speeding through red lights. In a statement to Q30, Mayor Lang said, quote, "These cameras would make all drivers realize that if they illegally run a red light, they are very likely to receive a ticket, hopefully cutting down on the myriad of cars that are running red lights. Our town has 240 miles of road. There's no possible way to be at every intersection with a police officer, even with the increased enforcement. These cameras would allow us to have eyes in more locations and make our streets and our intersections safer," end quote. Although Mayor Lang and Officer Putnam believe cameras are a positive tool, some Quinnipiac students, especially those from states that already use cameras, are not happy about this.
I live in New York, and I got a red light ticket even though I never went through the red light because some of the cameras are faulty, so it really depends. Like, they send you a video clip of you supposedly going through that red light, but the video clip came back with me stopped at the red light.
Distracted driving is a major reason why people speed through red lights.
Some people not knowing how fast their car is or paying attention to other things. This generation, a lot of people try and multitask, and sometimes that takes away from the focus of actually driving.
Mayor Lang is continuing to pursue this initiative to get cameras not only in the town of Hamden, but also in the entire state of Connecticut. In Hamden, Brooke Reilly, Q30 News.
With spring just a month away, hopefully those warm temperatures and nice weather are also on their way. But unfortunately, we are being hit with some more winter weather right now.
John McMahon is here to give us a little look into his weather forecast. John?
Thanks, guys. Well, looking ahead to the next 3 days, today is a little bit of snow, a high of 30 and a low of 28. Tomorrow, Thursday, a little bit of clouds, partly cloudy, high of 53, which, a little surprise, low of 30. And Friday, again, partly cloudy, 45 and a low of 26. For my complete weather forecast, tune in a little bit after the break.
Progress is being made to a historic home in Hamden. Matt Fortin has an update. Matt?
It's quiet at the Dickerman house right now, but that doesn't mean a lot of progress hasn't already been made on restoring the historical site. But as we learned, a lot still needs to be done, and the Historical Society may need your help. Before and after. In a matter of 3 months, the Hamden Historical Society has made some very visible strides in restoring the Dickerman House's roof and eave after last May's tornado caused extensive damage.
We're determined to do it right and get it back to where it needs to be.
President of the HHS, Ken Minkema, says that despite all that progress, much more still needs to be done, especially to fix the neighboring cider mill.
Tackling what's remaining with the Dickerman House, then the mill, the cider mill, probably has to be completely dismantled.
The Dickerman House is a nationally registered historical site on Mount Carmel Avenue. It belonged to the Dickermans in the late 18th century and has served as a glimpse of Hamden's past ever since.
It's really important, I think, to keep alive the legacy.
But fixing it won't be easy, and it certainly won't be cheap.
Historic structures, you need to restore them with the original materials and all of the historic specifications.
The period materials and special contractors all adding up to a bill of around $250,000.
We don't have a great deal of assets. Any help that people can give us will certainly go toward the Dickerman House.
And if you want to get involved in the restoration of the Dickerman House, Minkema says to give the Hamden Historical Society a call. Reporting in Hamden, Matt Fortin, Q30 News.
Hamden residents are still patiently awaiting the reopening of Sleeping Giant State Park. Officials have yet to set a date of the reopening, but are optimistic that it will be open soon. Volunteers have spent thousands of hours cleaning up the park since the tornado destroyed it back in May. According to officials, they have taken care of 1,953 trees and 294 alone in just the month of January. A representative from the Sleeping Giant Park Association says they are aiming to open Memorial Day or shortly after.
The Inside Out prison program is now accepting applications for the fall semester. The program allows undergraduate students and prisoners to learn together. It gives students the opportunity to understand community membership and social statuses from different perspectives. The course takes place inside a Connecticut state prison and meets once a week for 3 hours. It counts as a 3-credit elective for criminal justice majors and non-majors, just like other courses. The program is offered to help students gain a deeper understanding of the impact of social status on American life. The QU mock trial team has advanced to the opening round championship series of the annual American Mock Trial Association competitions. The team placed 4th at the regional tournament, outranking many other well-known law programs. The team will be competing in Boston for the championship series, hoping to proceed to nationals.
Development and Alumni Affairs is implementing a new initiative, crowdfunding. The idea, crowdfunding through Quinnipiac will require no fees or financial investment from project owners. Every penny of every donation will go directly toward project funding. Currently, the Department of Alumni Affairs is asking the Bobcat community to brainstorm needs that would benefit their program or team. Online crowdfunding applications will be accepted until February 28th.
If you are thinking about spending a semester in Washington, D.C., information sessions will be held on Thursday at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. in SC 207. You will get to meet representatives from all of the programs, learn about the programs offered, and scholarship information. The program is open to any Quinnipiac students in any major. This week is Shamrock Week. Shamrock the Rope is happening this Sunday. It is an annual event hosted by Kappa Delta to raise money for the organization's national philanthropy, Prevent Child Abuse America. The event features a tug-of-war competition called Pulling Today for Their Tomorrow. Bobcats can participate and donate to the cause. Students were able to taste $16 coffee this Monday for free. Mokhtar Al-Kanshali is the founder and CEO at Port of Mocha Coffee. This Monday afternoon, Al-Kanshali shared the story of how he came into the coffee-making business. Bobcats were invited to hear his story and freely taste the coffee he brewed from scratch. A lot is going on in politics. Jensen is here with our latest politics update.
Thanks, guys. So happy to be on the show for the first time. Let's get right down to politics. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders announced Thursday morning that he will be starting his campaign for the 2020 presidential election. The 77-year-old has gained many supporters from the previous election after offering free college tuition and single-payer health care. In a December Quinnipiac poll, Sanders was more popular with female voters than males and had more support from the African Americans and Latinos than he did with the white community. And just in the first day of announcing, more than 100,000 people have already donated and joined his campaign. Sanders tweeted along with the video, in part, quote, "I am asking you to join me today as part of an unprecedented and historic grassroots campaign," end quote. And as Bernie Sanders starts his promises, Trump promised a tax reduction with the new tax law, and the majority of Americans will see a drop. But this tax season has made people confused and surprised to see the amount of money they are getting back from the government. The Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center estimates the law would decrease individual income taxes by $1,260 on average, although it favors higher-paid people more. Many Americans have come to rely on the refunds, and about 3/4 of the U.S. taxpayers get, on average, $2,800. So in some low-income houses, it possibly is their biggest cash refund of the year. The IRS reported Thursday that the average tax refund has one of the second week filing was $1,949 down, which is 8.7% from the previous year, and the total number of refunds is down 16%. The Government Accountability Office estimated last summer that about 30 million workers had too little withheld from their paychecks. This made their home check bigger, but increased their tax liability. This is about 3 million more workers than the normal average. Experts say it's too early to conclude this year's taxes, but Connecticut has concluded the emergency declaration Trump is imposing is not right. Connecticut has now joined the multi-state lawsuit against President Trump's administration. State Attorney General William Tong announced that Connecticut is adding their state to the lawsuit. The last week, President Trump declared a national emergency along the southern border. So with California, Delaware, Maryland, Michigan, New York, and Virginia, just to name a few, Connecticut will join the fight. All 16 states claim President Trump is illegally trying to avoid Congress by making it an emergency. Tong's statement released Monday night said, quote, "Today's actions bring me no joy, but it is necessary to protect Connecticut and our Constitution," end quote. And that's all I have for tonight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jensen. After the break, our own John McMahon will give us a weather update to see if spring is right around the corner.
And later, MJ Baird will join us in the studio for the latest in Quinnipiac sports. We'll be right back. There's a winter storm advisory in Hamden this evening.
John McMahon is here with this week's weather forecast. John?
Thanks, guys. Moving right into our Connecticut map forecast. It's 25 in Torrington, 27 in Danbury, 28 in Hartford. Real frigid, guys. Put some jackets on. 29 in Norwich, 31 in New London, and 30 in New Haven. A little warmer on the shore. Moving right along into our 7-day. As you can see, today and Wednesday, a little bit of snow, high of 28, low of 27. Not great. Going to switch over some sleet. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 53, low of 30. A little warmer than we expected. Friday, again, partly cloudy, 46, high of 46, a low of 26. Saturday, clouds, high of 41 and 36. So keep those parkas on, guys. Sunday, rain, 54, high of 33. So good temp, but again, raincoats, umbrellas, you know the drill. Monday, again, clouds, high of 40, low of 22. And Tuesday, a high of 37 and low of 28. Well, that's all I have for the full weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, John. Now that we know what Hamden is bracing for locally, it's time to see what people across the nation are facing with our national news update from Chris Dacey.
What is happening across the country, Chris?
Kerry, Nhung, thanks. We start tonight with Southwest Airlines. It says it's under, quote, an operational emergency, end quote, after a large amount of planes have been taken out of service. Because of this, Southwest was forced to cancel hundreds of flights around the country. About 750 planes had issues, according to a statement from the airline. Southwest Airlines has implemented all hands-on-deck policy to help fix all the mechanical problems, but has still not been able to resolve all the issues with the planes. All these mechanical problems also come at a time where Southwest announced it has lost $60 million due to the government shutdown earlier this year. Tesla and Elon Musk are back in the news again, and it's not so good news. Tesla's general counsel, Dane Buczynskis, is leaving the company after being hired 2 months ago, but Buczynskis will go back to the legal practice he worked for before taking the Tesla job. Buczynskis has been working for the company for a total of 7 months. 2 of those months he's working as the company's general counsel. In a statement, Buczynskis said, quote, I am grateful for the opportunity for the past 7 months to have worked with both Elon and Tesla, end quote. But Buczynskis continues to say he looks forward to continue work with Tesla with an outside role. And if you think the snow we are having is bad tonight, you might want to see what is going on in Seattle and the West Coast. Well, in some areas of the Pacific Northwest, snow totals have reached around 10 inches, while others are bunkered down trying to keep warm. 18-year-old David Holtzen saw an opportunity to make some money plowing snow, and he did that, making around $30,000 in 4 days. He booked his service through Craigslist and was plowing different areas in the Pacific Northwest for rates of about $500 to $750 per hour. Holston said he is donating some of the money as well as using a portion for lawn equipment for the upcoming spring season, and the rest will go towards his first house. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Chris. When we come back, MJ Barrett is here to recap men's basketball and women's ice hockey senior day.
Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. Quinnipiac men's top basketball took a ride to my hometown of Albany, New York this past week to play the Siena Saints and the women's hockey team as it honored its seniors.
MJ Barrett is live in the studio with the latest in sports. MJ?
Yeah, Kerry, that trip you mentioned to Siena, yeah, well, it wasn't just any old trip for the men's basketball team. When the Bobcats left New York, social media was in an uproar. Quinnipiac basketball led SportsCenter that night. So you're probably asking, why? Let's find out. Roll the tape. Quinnipiac and Siena, you see there Cameron Nhung. I'll get to him in a second. But important to know, Quinnipiac up by 20 points at one point in the second half. That layup there is the game-tying one to send it to overtime. Okay, here we are. Number one, Cam Nhung. Second effort there. Those were 2 of his 55 points on the night. A little step-back 3 there from Nhung as well. That was James Harden-esque. And here we are in triple overtime, folks. And 1 for Nhung. 55 points in a game, the most in all of Division I men's basketball this season, the most in any MAC game ever, also the most points any Quinnipiac player has scored in Bobcats Division I history. We spoke to Nhung earlier this week.
To be honest, they didn't have the stats up on the Jumbotron during the game, so I honestly didn't know how many points I had or how many points he had. I knew we were both scoring the ball, throughout the game, but, until the end of the game, I honestly didn't know the stat lines.
Said he doesn't know, but what I do know is that wasn't the only men's basketball game last week. Quinnipiac welcomed Ryder to Hamden. This one well worth the price of admission. Down by 9 with under a minute on the clock, Quinnipiac mounted a comeback. Tyrese Williams for 3 cuts the Ryder lead to 2 in the final seconds. Ryder up 3 can seal the game with a free throw. That's a miss. Quinnipiac has a chance in transition. The outlet pass to Aaron Robinson. Quinnipiac needs a 3 under 5 seconds. Jacob Bergoni needs this one to fall. Sidestep, puts it up. No good. But wait, he's fouled. How do you foul behind the three-point line down by 3? Ryder does. He makes the first 2. Here's the third. And talk about pressure free throws from Bergoni there. The Bobcats force overtime and run away with it in a win by a final score of 98-88. Over to the ice now. Quinnipiac women's hockey had its senior day on Saturday. The Bobcats honored 5 seniors for their contributions to the program. Anna Kilpinen, Kenzie Lancaster, Kate McKenzie, Randy Marcon, and Melissa Samiskevich took the ice with their families before the game. And, the Bobcats controlled much of the game action as well from the start. Junior forward Taylor House scored twice for the Bobcats en route to a 5-0 win over Union. Ladies, that's all for sports. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, MJ. More on that. The women's hockey team donated to the Quinnipiac Health and Wellness last Saturday. The team presented a check of $1930 at the annual fundraiser called Do It for Darren. The donation is to help with Quinnipiac's initiative on mental health. That is all we have for the latest around Quinnipiac and Hamden. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Q30 News and on our website at Q30TV.com for all of our content.
From all of us here at Q30, good night, Bobcats.